in the production environment. Mr. Lind will report about a new method to analyze clouding in non-woven production and high-resolution system to detect 5 micrometer holes fully automated. Mr. Lind, it's yours.
Gentlemen, digital photography and digital images are all around us, every single time. So in this room alone, there's probably 100 cameras. Take a picture of me now, and then you could zoom in and see whether I still have dark rings under my eyes after yesterday's party. So this is going to this extreme. And at Roboscope, we have developed a machine to take this even one step further, which we call the Roboscope. So the Roboscope takes this down to a level where you can zoom in to match 1 micron to 1 pixel. And this movement of opening up a picture on your cell phone has become so normal that the other day when I was at my father's house, I had a stack of printed photos and I tried to zoom in to one of my childhood photos on a printed photo. Of course it didn't work. So back to the topic at hand. So the Roboscope is a combination of optics and digital chips to make high resolution picture and imagery on a microscopic level of samples that can be up to A4 in size. And the beginning, of course, is the camera and the lighting, and then of course we go into intermittent lighting, we're going into reflective lighting to play around to make the perfect image for what we're doing later on to analyze the imagery that we have done. Because after the lighting and after the optics, of course, comes the exercise of a very strong image recognition software, which allows you not only to find, for example, defects, but also to analyze patterns and all of these things. And that will bring us now slowly into the topic of cloudiness. We have the Roboscope Mu. As I said, this can go down to 1 micron per pixel. That's a very important number because, of course, the pixel is the smallest possible resolution that we have in the digital imagery. We are working with very high-performing chips, very high-performing computers, because the amount of data that we are generating through this high-resolution imagery is very high, and we have to make sure that we can keep in the processing times. What we're presenting also at our booth upstairs, and I invite you really to come later on to see this machine in live, is the Roboscope Mobile, which is in difference to the first unit that I've showed you, easier to handle, which can be carried around a production site and can be, for example, used in a lab as well. For the imagery that I'm going to show now about the cloudiness, we have used the Roboscope SC, which is a scanner type system with a not as high a resolution, but I will explain in a second why we don't need this really extremely high resolution in the topic that we have investigated here. The Roboscope is a very flexible machine. And cloudiness is one example that we're presenting today because it works for this conference and it's an interesting topic for you. But there's a host of other applications that we're doing as well with this machine. And a lot of different, also very fun pictures that we have taken. So we can analyze, for example, melt blown. Yeah? Again, what are you looking for? That would be the question. Then we have to look, can we see this? How can we see this? How can we help you to look into the different applications? We have done analysis of microplastics in wastewater. Again, with the analytics of the optical recognition, we can count, we can give sizes, we can give areas, and then give you some new data of what you're looking for. Extremely interesting if you combine this with 3D imaging. So now we're moving away from the normal camera into 3D imaging, and we're using the system, in this case the image recognition and the know-how in image recognition. We can see, for example, this is a welding line between 2 textiles. Is the welding done well? Where there might be leakages or things like that. For example, also quality control of TFT screens is something that we're doing. We are working on new concepts to move the samples under the lens, fast and very precise. There's new technology out there, so you no longer have to turn by hand or maybe with AC motors, positioning the sample itself but you can actually do this on a more electronic and faster way, probably also combining several different lenses for several different applications on a very fast way. As we discussed also, we can look at, this was a project that we did where the customer asked us to find holes. So these are holes with, as you can see, 44 micron across and 50, so approximately 50 microns in diameter. So these can be found, these can be analyzed, these can be counted, and again you can go into saying, okay, if I have 2 holes, this is still a good product, but on the other hand, maybe you have zero tolerance, then you have to test every single sample for a hole, and every hole will mean that this sample cannot go cannot be sold. Extremely interesting and extremely complicated product to look at would be glass fibers and carbon fibers, which we also have looked at this is, for example, Prepregs for the automotive industry, where it's very important that the resin inside be not too much molten, but also keeps the whole structure together before you go into further production. Extremely difficult because of in glass fibers, because of course the reflections all within the glass fibers. We have to find the right lighting. We have to find the correct translucence and the correct reflections to get good pictures. Carbon fiber, a little bit easier, but of course all with reflective light. But again, as you can see, 25 millimeters across. We are working at near microscopic levels, but with the ease, basically, of a telephone where you can scan up and down as you wish. We had an interesting project for butterflies, where it came into the fact, of course, you will understand with regards to the optics, that when you have this that you have a very short expense, so you have a very low depth of your focus. So here we had to do stacking, so you're taking 50 pictures and you're stacking them together, unifying them to get one picture that has very nice focus. In this case, it was for a collection of butterflies. Which concludes what I wanted to show you. This is a really nice example of our work. When we're looking at a miniature, this lady on the right is a medallion, so the whole diameter of the medallion is approximately 2 centimeters, and the diameter of the lens that you see here is I've forgotten, was it 18 microns or something? It's really tiny, but it shows what we would like to do. We would like to show and bring to the eye what you can't see. So to conclude, I would like you to remember that the Roboscope is a flexible machine. We have 3 models. We've got the micron, which is the high resolution. Up on our booth, please come and have a look at the lab version, which can go down to 20 microns per pixel. And then we've got the SC for example, the Nonwoven applications that we've done. Please remember that we have a very powerful image recognition and image analysis software behind it, and that if you need a large sample analyzed down to a very high resolution, then this would be a solution, and maybe in the coming days or weeks you will think about an application and then you know where to find us. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to your questions.